Hey, this is Rick Kozelj, injury specialist from exercisesforinjuries.com. In this video, I wanted to go through 4 exercises to fix a sore hip. And I'll get Donnelly to go through the first exercise, then I'll go through in detail, and then I'll show you the other 3. So you're lying on your back, and then you're going to drop your knees to the side. So there you go. So wide knees, dropping knees side to side. So this is the first exercise. So you're lying on your back, your feet a little more than shoulder width apart, and then you're going to drop your knees to the side to a good stop, and then coming to the other side and just rocking back and forth. So what we're doing here is we're working on increasing the range of motion in that hip joint. We're working on dynamically stretching the internal external rotators of the hip, which tend to be tight with sore hips. So we want to loosen them up. And if we can loosen up the hips, if we can decrease the tension in the hips and improve the range of motion, that'll end up helping when it comes to sore hips. Looking at the sets, reps, time, and intensity sets, 1, repetitions 5 each side, so rocking back and forth. Time, smooth controlled movement, then coming to a good stop. So like 1-2 seconds at each of the end positions. And the intensity ends up being light. We're looking at dynamically stretching the muscles in the hip and then working on that range of motion, making sure that hip joint is working good and properly. Now moving on to the second exercise for sore hip, we're going to do a high hip bridge. So you're lying on your back, you're going to bring the feet closer together so they're about hip width apart, good. And then you're going to push through the heels, lift yourself up, and then you're looking at having the knees, hips, shoulders in a straight line. You're going to hold for a couple seconds, and then you're going to come back down. Now, with this one, what we're doing is we're really working the hamstrings and the glutes. If we can activate the hamstrings and the glutes, that ends up decreasing the soreness of the hip. Because most of the time, soreness of the hip ends up being in the front of the hip. And that soreness ends up being a result a lot of times by excessive tightness and stiffness in the front of the hip. Now, one way of solving that is by activating the muscles in the hamstrings in the glutes in order to help counteract that tension. And also for the hamstrings and glutes to kind of help assist in the hip more. So with this one, this high bridge, you're looking at, when it comes to sets, reps, time, and intensity, sets 1, repetitions 5, time, smooth controlled movement, coming to a good stop at the top position, so a second or 2, and then you can progress that to a hold of 5 seconds to 10 seconds. Intensity, we want to feel like we're working the hamstrings and the glutes area. So that ends up being the second exercise. Moving into the third exercise for a sore hip, Donnelly's going to move into the 90-90 hip flexor stretch. Good. Then she's going to bring the arms into it. Good, so there we go. That ends up being the third one to end up doing. And then Donnelly's going to switch sides. And I'll highlight things. So she's getting into this 90-90 position. So the front leg is at 90, the back leg's at 90. We're targeting this area, the front of the hip in the thigh, because with a sore hip, oftentimes this is the area that ends up happening, and it's a result of tension. And we're working on resolving that tension and tightness with this. And then by bringing the arms into it, we add more intensity. So we're tightening up the abdominal areas, tightening up the glutes, bringing the hips forward, and then bring the arms overhead to really stretch out from here all the way down to there when it comes to that hip flexor area. When it comes to sets, reps, time, and intensity, sets end up being 1, repetitions ends up being 2. Time, we want to hold the stretch for about 20 seconds, and the intensity ends up being light. We're looking at getting a light stretch. Now the fourth one ends up being standing back arches. So Donnelly's going to stand about hip width apart, maybe a little more than a hip width apart, hands kind of on the hips, pelvis area, and then she's going to arch back. Good. Bringing the hips forward, arching through the back, arching through the mid-back, bringing the head back a bit, and then coming back to the start. So with this one, what we're working on is, a lot of times with sore hips, it's a result of poor mobility or movement in that low back area. So we're working on improving that mobility or movement in the low back area. Also, by bringing the hips forward, we are also improving the mobility in that hip joint. So by bringing the hips forward, we're working on improving the movement and mobility in that hip joint, which is what we want to do, because a lot of times that excessive tightness in the front of the hip is leading to soreness in the hip. Now, looking at sets, reps, time, and intensity, sets are 1, repetitions ends up being 5, time ends up being smooth, controlled movement, holding that end position for a good stop, second or 2. Intensity ends up being light. We're working on mobility, movement in the low back area, lower spine area, and also in that hip. So there you go. Give those 4 exercises to help fix a sore hip. Now, if you want some of my other best tips and tricks when it relates to dealing with sore hips and hip pain, then I recommend you click right here. I have a brand new free report called 5 Tricks That Fight Hip Pain and Tightness. Just click right here, let me know where to send it, and I'll send it to you right away. Now, if you're watching this on a mobile device, tablet, smartphone, head down below in the description and click the first link, which will end up being exercisesforinjuries.com/hips. Let me know where to send that, and I'll send it to you right away. Now, if you got benefit from this video, make sure you like this video. If you have a question or comment for me, leave it down below in the comment section. And then lastly, hit subscribe in order to get future pain relieving videos.